Yo, it's Trivelli. I'm back, and today I'm going to be giving you my final line predictions for all of the Florida teams for the first week of the college football season. So if you can, please like, comment, and subscribe so we get this channel out to as many people as possible. Also, follow me on Instagram and Twitter so you get my daily notifications for when I'm dropping videos. That's going to be Monday through Friday, because I'm never slacking. And let's jump into the action.
I'm living life like this. Maybe give a little glimpse, maybe give a little.
All right, so we've got Miami versus Alabama, Florida versus Florida Atlantic, UCF versus Boise State, Florida State versus Notre Dame, FIU versus Long Island, which the line was not announced, and South Florida versus NC State. And I'm going to break down all of these games one by one, starting with Miami versus Alabama. So this is an 18-point spread. You obviously have, two college football heavyweights here, Alabama being the better of the two in the recent 10 to 20 year stretch, of course, but Miami, you can never take them too lightly. Unfortunately, I will have to say for that Miami fans, I think that this line is really cool to see because you're basically a 2-touchdown underdog versus the powerhouse of college football. So you're not that far away, but for obvious reasons, I have to take Alabama. Now, I think that this could end up being a 24 to 28 point loss for Miami, and if it was in Miami, it could be a little bit different, but Alabama has the recruiting on lock with 5s across the board. NFL coaches are everywhere. They've got Saban. They picked up Bill O'Brien as offensive coordinator. Bryce Young, their new quarterback, is probably going to be a superstar. They've got speed on the outside. Running backs are never an issue. This machine is just going to have 3 to 4 guys to rotate, and they'll have a new stud for the next 2 years. I believe Miami losing their premier pass rusher in Jalen Phillips, as well as Gregory Rousseau, tight end Brevin Jordan. These are going to be holes that you really can't replace in week one versus pretty much the best team in college football. So give me Alabama. Sorry, Miami fans, even though this is my team, this is how you know I'm not biased. Let's move on. Florida versus FAU. All right. Another team here where I have a close tie. Go Owls. Okay. What they don't know about FAU is that FAU has one of the best running backs in the conference. If he can stay healthy, they will definitely be able to run the ball versus UF. They also have extremely good depth at O-line, which is pretty important versus a team that's going to be shoving 4- and 5-star recruit DNs and D tackles at your face. We've got a transfer for FAU where N'Kosi Perry's coming over from the Miami Hurricanes. I believe that's going to give them a proven starter that they can use week one, who's basically been in those situations in huge stadiums with sold out crowds, and a myriad of other reasons. Now, I already broke this game down in a previous video, so if you want to check that out, you can see it right now. But just a quick note, think about this game being close for all the reasons that I said in that video and just now. But also, even if UF is up by 35 at half, they're going to have to, pull the starters at some point, giving FAU a chance to creep back by a touchdown or two to close that line. This line is disrespectful, in my opinion, to the amount of talent that FAU truly has on offense and defense, returning a bunch of starters on both sides of the field and a pretty decent head coach in Willie Taggart, and how much UF has actually lost on offense and defense. I will actually take FAU here. I think that they can be sneaky and lose by anywhere between 14 and 21, and they can actually close out this line. UCF minus 3.5 versus Boise State. This is my favorite line on the entire video. I think this is so ridiculous that they're only giving UCF 3 points. I expect UCF to roll right through this line. If this was a 10-point spread, maybe I would be more hesitant to pull the trigger, but I think that they will win by at least 10 because of transfers and the need for a few weeks for UCF to get to gel. I understand if they, don't win by 24 in this specific game, but with a veteran SEC pro like Gus Malzahn, a proven starter in Dylan Gabriel, who does not turn the ball over and can easily fill the ESPN top 10 with highlight reel dimes, whether on a broken play or sitting pretty between 5 returning starters on the O-line. I think that the only problem with this team might be the defense, but luckily UCF has 2 proven linebackers to help fill the void left by safety Richie James, so that's going to help. And then Boise State is lacking a proven running game and the offensive and defensive firepower on pretty much every side of this to keep up with UCF. This is an easy pick for me. Like I said, if it was a 10 to 17 point line, I would be hesitant, but I do believe UCF actually has the ability to win this game by, 20 plus points. Moving on, like I said, FIU versus Long Island. That game is not announced because Long Island, I'm sorry, is not a D1 football team. So you're going to have to wait until the next week if you're a Panthers fan to get my line if I do this again. All right, so South Florida versus NC State. NC State is a 17.5 favorite, which I actually think is a little much because all 5 starters on the O-line for USF are back. They're huge too. If you look at these guys, they have some massive size. They also got the transfer from Miami and Jaron Williams at quarterback that I believe is going to provide some nice depth so they can have a nice quarterback camp right now that's going to compete with their guy from last year, Jordan McLeod. Now that being said, QB and O-line needs weapons, and USF lacks the speed to beat NC State on the outside, but defense returns many starters, and that should be a bright spot for this team. I think they can actually pull off this line if they figure out the QB situation, build a good game plan around throwing the ball, because I don't think the running game is going to get it done versus the Wolfpack. And at the end of the day, definitely give me the Wolfpack straight up, but winning by 18 is going to be a legit challenge. So 17 seems like my cap. This is going to be very close. Give me the Bulls to cover by 3 or 4. All right, finally, we've got Florida State versus Notre Dame, where Notre Dame comes out as a 10-point favorite. You've got FSU really unproven after an abysmal season, but they did show the ability to upset a giant with a win over number 5 North Carolina. But besides that, they really do have to protect Jordan Travis if they want any chance of sniffing a 10-point loss versus Notre Dame. He was pretty much a bright spot at their quarterback position. Notre Dame loses their linebacker, Jeremiah Owusu, but they have one of the best safeties in Kyle Hamilton. I think they'll be just fine on defense. What this game comes down to me is Notre Dame is just going to be able to shut down Florida State. I don't think Florida State's going to be able to muster up much offense versus Notre Dame, and that's going to be a huge problem. So give me Notre Dame by 14. I hate both of these teams, so I will not be watching or betting. So there you guys have it, guys. Those are all my picks for week 1 for the Florida teams. If this video garnishes enough attention, I get enough likes, comments, and more subscribers, I'll be happy to do literally every single breakdown of every single game for you guys. I just need to see that people are going to watch this, and of course, I'm going to continue to do it. So thank you guys so much for your support, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.
I'm living life like this. Maybe give a little glimpse, maybe give a little